Look at my little sponge. It's the little things, you know? It's still the best flavor. Drink this in every video until Lonnie decides to send me some for free challenge. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm Fat Sajak, and yes, I fully accept that my hair looks like this. Today is made possible by viewers like you, and also my emotional sport laundry, which as you can see is growing by the moment. It's all clean, it just needs to go somewhere, and who's got the time? Clearly not me. Anywho, why are we here today? Well, I've gathered us here today because Gabbie Hanna is sorry, and like 9 million of you in my comment section from my Nikocado avocado video from yesterday were like, hey, are you gonna talk about this? And I was like, great question, sweet person, already in the works. I guess you could say I'm 2 steps ahead. Shut the fuck up! Gabbie Hanna put out a video called A Long Overdue Apology. This would have been yesterday for me. Who knows when it is for you? Right. So I figured we could watch this together and see what we think about said apology. Before we get into it though, make sure if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. We're on a voyage to 30K. I'm not a numbers person, but 30 is a nice even round number. So I'm looking forward to getting there, and I have a fun idea for a giveaway when we do get there. Also, my second channel, Fatter Sajak, there's about to be some shenanigans over there, which I'm really excited about. And I have some shenanigans planned for over there for the holidays too. So please make sure you're subscribed over there as well, because I'm about to utilize the actual out of that channel, okay? Prepare yourselves. Also below you can find all relevant links, irrelevant links, ways to help families in Palestine, making sure you register to vote, my social media, my Patreon, my channel memberships, my merch, my Amazon storefront, all that good stuff. It's all linked down below. Please feel free to check it out at your leisure, or don't even bother. I don't care. It's fine. It's fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Seriously, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So let's get into it. Let's watch this video together and drink your Alani every time Gabbie mentions God. Right away, we've set the scene. The wood is chopped. The outside is outsiding. Outfit's cute. I like the wide leg jeans. I love wide leg pants with fitted tops. Cute, always. Love it. I feel like her hair is in a really good era. Loving that as well. Okay, it's not all negativity here. I do have some nice things to say about people. I'm not a horrible person. I just play one on TV.
Today is September 10th, 2024, which means exactly 10 years ago today, a decade ago today, I posted my very first YouTube video.
That's exciting. But also, like, can someone get Gabbie like a lapel mic? This new era of holding clippable mics, like lapel mics or like little Rode mics, I don't know, it just bothers me. Like if you have a full mic, like that bothers me less, because that makes sense in my brain. Maybe it's a me hang up. I don't know. Just a general comment, not necessarily a Gabbie specific, but also a little bit Gabbie specific.
It was a Q&A, nothing special except my hair. My hair was absolutely positively majestic, but naturally when you come across like a big milestone like a 10-year anniversary, it makes one reflect.
Okay, I'm reflecting on why we're sitting in the direct sunlight. Like I get it, the light is good, but like she had to have been blind after this.
So I've been reflecting, and as I've reflected on the past 10 years of my life, my career at large, I feel like I owe a lot of people apologies.
I feel like that's correct. Yeah, I feel like that's very true. Some we may not even know about,
So I wrote some notes. I have a list. Okay, so the first bunch of people that I'd like to say thank you and I'm sorry to is anyone I've ever worked with, from collaborators, producers, management, agents, anyone from PA on set to director, special I'm sorry goes out to MTV and YouTube Originals, because I was difficult to work with.
Yeah, that's pretty widely known at this point. I don't think that's a secret. I think it was something that was talked about for a really long time, and then Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada really kind of put the nail in that coffin. She seemed like almost impossible to work with. So I guess I'll applaud her for the self-awareness to say so.
I took a lot of opportunities that I didn't deserve and also had no business doing. There were a lot of people who kind of, practiced and trained and wanted some of those opportunities their whole lives. And I was able to do them with really little to no actual effort in that space.
I think that's a really annoying thing about social media. I think it's really cool that it can propel careers in a huge way. Like even SNL, they're pulling people from TikTok, which is crazy to me. I remember being at Second City and you'd be like, oh shit, the scouts are out, they're looking to recruit for SNL. And now it's like you just post a fucking funny TikTok consistently and it's, Sunshine and Lorne Michaels. And I don't think that's talked about enough. How, I feel like people gave Billie Eilish a lot of shit for when she was like, there's TikTokers here at an actual event. Not that it matters because celebrities are celebrities, but it does feel... And it's not to say that there aren't talented people on social media, and it's not saying that there aren't people who have both virality and training, or virality and, having their end goal always be to do X thing. That's totally a possibility, and I'm sure happens all the time. But there are people like Gabbie who are just conventionally attractive, charismatic, and get views, who just end up doing jobs that they shouldn't. So again, I feel like I'll give her another point of self-awareness for that, because that feels pretty accurate.
So also sorry to anybody who deserved the opportunity more than me that I took from them based on social media followers, etc. This apology covers a wide breadth of people.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's my first kind of point of contention with this video. I feel like it should contain specifics. I think an apology, even if it's in reflection, and even if you don't want to take personal matters public, the things that were public already, I feel like those can be addressed in a tactful way. You know what I mean? I feel like we could talk about them tactfully. I feel like there should be some specifics. Because I feel like a lot of this, and as I've seen on this video, Joey Graceffa commented on it, which, great. But obviously a big portion of this is the Escape the Night drama, which, if you are unaware, Daniel Prada basically point by point broke down where she was absolutely impossible and insufferable and unreliable to work with. And I feel like, considering she was so adamant when she was putting out her series to say Daniel and Joey did X, Daniel and Joey didn't respect my my need to have certain things, Daniel and Joey said they would do this and they did this. Since she was so adamant to call them out by name when she was making accusations that were then proven to be false by Daniel and by Joey, it feels like if you're going to apologize, you should actually apologize and say who you're sorry to specifically and why specifically. In my opinion, I don't think there's ever a correct apology, but I do feel like even though this specific portion of this apology can apply to a lot of people that Gabbie has encountered, I think even naming some of them would show a little more integrity. But I'm not counting her out yet. I will still give her props where props is due. It's hard to apologize. It's hard to apologize publicly. Listen, I'm still here to give her the benefit of the doubt most of the time.
So, like I said, if you've ever worked with me or had an interaction with me at some type of work event and you were unhappy or felt hurt in some way, I'm very sorry, and thank you for the opportunities that I've been given and the patience and grace that I've been shown that I definitely didn't deserve, and the professionalism as well that I definitely didn't deserve and definitely was not displaying. So thank you.
The words are good, but the vibe is weird. Does that make sense?
And I'm sorry. In that vein, I also want to say sorry to anybody who feels like I used them or took advantage of them in any type of collaboration or work setting as well. Whether you helped me out with a project and didn't get your proper flowers or didn't pay you well or at all.
How many times did we conduct business with free labor? This is leaving me with more questions than answers.
A lot of times there was just like a collaboration basis, and I feel like I could have done better with hyping up people that I've worked with and showing appreciation by sharing influence with people who have helped me out. Literally reading my notes, I was selfish, only cared about how I could benefit.
Yeah. That kind of feels like the Gabbie Hanna business model to me. Apparently also featuring unpaid employees.
Thank you. And I'm sorry. I got my lick back.
Do you even know what that means?
I also want to say thank you and I'm sorry to all of my friends, past, present, who I dumped so much negativity on. I was such a dark cloud and was constantly just in something that I know what it's like to be around somebody who's always like in some type of like negative headspace. So thank you to anybody who's been there for me in those times. And I'm sorry for anybody who was affected or brought down by my complaining. And also in that vein, gossip. I want to say sorry to anybody who, whether I've spoken out of turn, behind your back, shared information that wasn't mine to share.
Now that covers a whole breadth of people. 3 people specifically that come up, being, of course, Jessie Smiles, as well as her former friend Irene, as well as her ex-boyfriend Peyton. I feel like those 3 really run the gamut here. If you remember fondly the Enough podcast, which bore such gems as
these are bullies. These are high school fucking bullies.
As well as
I am the fucking victim.
That whole episode was a trauma dump. And I can't imagine what it was like off camera if that's what it was like on camera. It had to have been chaotic to be around. As far as gossip, talking about things out of turn, talking about things that are none of your business, talking about things, yeah, to say the least, that should be a specific apology.
I'm sorry. Again, I got my lick back. And
again, I still don't think you know what that means. I don't think you know what that means. And I do believe that's AAVE. And if I'm not mistaken, it means to get revenge on someone. I don't think she's using that correctly.
This was a big lesson for me in general. About speaking about somebody when they're not in the room in a negative way or in a way that is overstepping personal boundaries. So that's a big one for me. I feel like I owe that apology to a lot of people from literally my whole life, and especially in my entertainment career. So sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that is like the apology you give when you forget to bring someone a book back that you borrowed. Talking heinously behind people's backs in a public setting, as she has stated in her entertainment career, feels like something that you should apologize a little more sincerely about, like a little more eloquently perhaps, and again perhaps in specifics. And I don't say specifics because I want the tea, or like I want to be able to be like, yes, she did this, or no, she didn't do that, or wow, I can't believe that happened. But because like without the specifics, it does feel a little hollow in my opinion. But let's get through the rest, you know. Like I am open to being wrong.
I genuinely have learned and grown in that area a lot, and am still to this day. It's really hard not to.
Okay, but like my question is how, I mean, and I guess it's not up to her to prove it to us, but like how are we the audience to know that you have learned and grown? Like what have you learned and grown upon? Like what in what ways have you grown and what have you learned? Because all I'm hearing is like, turns out it's bad to talk poorly of people when they're not in the room. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm struggling to see the growth, I guess. You know, without examples and without at least some specifics, you know, you don't even have to go to the whole root of it all, but like without some sort of context to that, some real world example, how is an audience is just supposed to take your word for it, I guess? Which, okay, this is your apology, girl. You go off.
Oh, I also want to say sorry to anybody who was a subject of a storytime video, or who I shared a personal experience with, or even not a personal experience. Like anytime I've ever engaged in celebrity gossip or used somebody as a punchline, but mainly the story times, like when I was sharing these personal experiences online for entertainment content factor. Like, yeah, one of my ickiest things, I feel like, which blows because it was also one of my biggest things.
I mean, I think one of the ickiest was the way she treated Jessie Smiles. I think that will forever be the ickiest, followed swiftly by the way she treated, I don't know, take it easy, Rachel Oates. That whole era of her existence, like, I think vague story times about nameless, faceless people, I think that's fine. I feel like there was a Bible verse in there somewhere that she read where it said, you know, don't talk about people. Thou shalt not talk shitteth about people behind their backeth, and she's just running with that. Without explicit names and faces, I find it really difficult to believe that someone would be like, I'm so sorry that I told stories from my life. Also, while I was editing this, I was reminded of all of the horrifically transphobic and racist things she said while she was manic, and while I don't think mental health is an excuse for bad behavior, it can be the reason for the season. And I feel like whether or not it was a mental health thing, I feel like this should have been a really big part of her apology. And I'm actually really disappointed that she didn't find that to be one of the ickiest things she's ever done, because, ew, gross. Okay, back to the video. Thanks, bye. Anyway, carry on, Gabs.
Right? This is one of the reasons I deleted, like, all of my videos. I get that comment all the time, like, why'd you delete all your videos? And that was mostly it. It was just not a representation of myself. It was not a representation of Christ. It was not a representation of anybody I wanted to be. And it was off the backs of gossip and complaining and telling one-sided narratives and making other people feel victimized and bullied, whether it's anonymous or not. Like, I just put people in a situation where they felt embarrassed and hurt and ashamed. And again, I got my lick back.
Again, I still don't think you know how to use that. Anyway, I do think it's quite interesting how much empathy she has for strangers, acquaintances, people I assume she doesn't speak to anymore, and yet shares little to no empathy for people she's actually hurt with verbal venom. When in Rome, am I right?
Like, by scale, anybody that I've ever told a story about and shown a negative light on, I definitely have felt the weight of that. And God humbled me and taught me empathy in that area. So I'm genuinely, wholeheartedly sorry for what I put you through. It was probably really, really difficult and traumatizing. So I feel you.
I too feel you.
And I'm sorry. I also want to take this time to say I'm sorry to my family, or just in general people at home who feel like I either capitalized on, you know, shared experiences that shouldn't have been shared so freely, or just projecting anything that I was feeling onto you. I feel like I do that in general, but I think with my family, I've done that a lot. There's a lot of things I could say and want to say to my family, which I'm sure I will more in person. Hey guys, and talking about my past, I know I'm talking about your past as well. So I'm sorry about that, and thank you for not being too hard on me about it. I'm sorry for not visiting more, for my contribution to any wedges or distance in our relationships. I'm so grateful to be home. I have loved spending the last year or so here, And I feel really just blessed and grateful.
Maybe this is the part where I get nitpicky, I guess, but like, I feel like this is the part that should be private, right? This is the part where you should be like, I have apologized to my family privately because of X, Y, and Z. This whole grandiose apology to your family, that's something that could be done in private. The public feuds, the public misbehavior, the public vitriol is the thing that like your audience likely cares more about, because the audience of this video really probably for the most part was not privy to your like inner family spats or whatever, you know? It just feels like she's got this the other way around, in my opinion.
To have so many people here right off the bat as soon as I came back, and I really appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to the years to come now that I am here in Pennsylvania in front of this pile of vlogs. I love you. And I also have to give the biggest, most like, how could I ever find the words? I need to apologize to all of my fans, anybody who ever supported me, for so many things, being inconsistent, for worrying you, for breaking promises, for being a bad role model, first and foremost.
I'm gonna give her credit where credit's due for this. That's big of her, as long as this is the consistent story we're sticking with.
Honestly, like, from the beginning of my career to the end, like, right now I'm deleting so much content. I'm deleting a lot of my music, so I know I'll probably get some questions about, you know, where's the song, where are these music videos? I took a lot of it down. It was either because of profanity, subject matter, or just like immodesty. Like, I'm embarrassed watching a lot of those videos.
This is like blowing out a match when the forest is on fire. I'm not gonna knock her for wanting to change the image or the version of herself she wants online, right? We all know the internet is forever. We've all seen the way Gabbie behaves. It's documented. Hell, it's documented on this channel. It's documented pretty well, and it's not gonna go away. And if she truly feels like she wants this fresh start, she's in her God zone, which is sort of like Monday Night Football for Christians, I guess. Either way, she's changing her public persona to be this more modest Christian, classically Gabbie. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the audience is particularly concerned with her modesty or the profanity used in the past. Because the reality is you can get rid of the art you created, or you can create an evolution and say, this is who I was, this is who I am now, this is how I've changed. I can't believe I put stuff like that out. Obviously, it's her choice whether or not she wants to keep it up, take it down, whatever. I don't think this part of the apology is necessary. Correct me if I'm wrong, but personally, I wouldn't care.
I grew a lot. I wish I would have taken more advice when I was coming up in the field. Like, I remember one of my first writing sessions, somebody said to me, like, you can avoid swearing if you can help it. And I was like, no, I want to swear. I'm so edgy, and ignoring even like people telling me that I should like cover up more and stuff. Like, I wish I would have.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like she treated profanity in a way that, like, I don't know, a 10-year-old out with their friends treats profanity, where it's like every other word. And I feel like there are songs of hers where it fits in well, and then there's some where it's like, we didn't need that. Surely there are other words that are the same amount of syllables that would have sufficed there. And yeah, I mean, there were even the first, she used to wear that flannel that was like cut out. It was just like the front panel of a shirt. And it was just like, you're just waiting for her tits to fall out. I don't care whether or not someone is being modest. Like, that's not my concern. If that's how you want to dress, that's what you want to do. You want to run around in an ill-fitting piece of lingerie with baggy jeans. If you want to run around with half a shirt on, if you want to run around with no shirt on, you're wearing a flannel, you're not wearing pants, like, whatever, that's fine. You do you, okay? Someone's coming to clean the cum shot off your mirror. At the end of the day, I don't know, I lost my train of thought.
Because now here I am, 33 years old, embarrassed and having to delete a lot of work and effort that I, put into a project, but no regrets. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. And
but like, what did you learn? Like, I one of my least favorite things is when, specifically in apologies from creators, they say things like, I've learned and I've grown, but like, what have you learned? Like, this, it's not important to me what you've learned, because this is, to me personally, it's not a deal. Like, I don't care. Dress however you want. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. But like, to say like, I learned a lot. Well, then tell me what you learned. Like, what did you learn? You learned that you would rather be modest. You learned that you fell into Christianity and now you've made it your whole personality. What is it that you've learned? Please, class is in session.
everything is just tuition at God University, time spent at God University.
Wow. I want you to know that I applied to God University and I did not get in. Maybe I shouldn't have written my essay about cults.
Lessons learned, but I'm so sorry for all of the just poor behavior, reckless behavior, self-centered, vain, prideful.
Maybe it's just that Gabbie Hanna has so much public stuff to apologize for, or to atone for, or to explain, or to learn and grow from, or whatever, that it feels very nitpicky of me to consistently be like, okay, but like, could you get into the specifics? Because like, I feel like the specifics matter here. Are you apologizing for a time when you got caught being rude to somebody? Or are you sorry for the time that you know, spent several days in, you know, a manic state claiming you were the second coming of Christ, come back down and then say, you know, oh, I was manic, I've never been manic, I'm looking for a therapist, and then to come back and go, oh yeah, I was fine, I look back on it with fondness, it was slam poetry. What specifically are you sorry for? Because the specifics actually do kind of matter. Like, the self-awareness is so good. The ability to apologize in general, so good. Love that for you. But like, if you're gonna apologize, especially to your fans who are largely younger people, saying what you're sorry for, how that's changed, what you've learned from it, and how you've grown is important, in my opinion, okay? It just is.
Just meaningless content, and yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can to counteract that. I have this sort of constant battle, like literally always, of like, can I disappear into nothing and just like exist, you know, in the woods, and knowing that I've been given a great responsibility that I already fumbled and misused
several times. And maybe like this time, if it doesn't work out, maybe it's time to take a look at the listings on Indeed and find yourself a nice 9-to-5. One apology video in 10 years does not an apology make. Well, I'll give 2. The Bianca Dims thing. Well, I'll allow it.
And needing to use that responsibility more wisely. So yeah, I've been a really poor example, and I've been really ungrateful to you. I also want to say a special I'm sorry to any of my patrons on Patreon. Just so inconsistent. Like, yeah, I gotta do better.
Me. Damn it! The day finally came when I related to Gabbie Hanna.
I know I've been saying that for so long, which is the problem. Like, I'm trying so hard. I really am. And I know apologies have to come with action. I really am trying. Like, I'm trying.
That's not action, though. What else are you doing? I'm trying is not an action. I'm trying is what people who apologize and give no action say. That's what those people say. I'm trying. Okay, and she may be trying. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Like, I need help. Like, something to make it so that I can be consistent, because I don't have the greatest executive functioning.
Okay, that's cool. Like, I get that. ADHD and a complete lack of executive function. I get it. What else are you doing though? Like, this is your job. You know, I have poor executive function. I am not a diagnosed ADHD person, but I've seen the traits in myself, and specifically with lack of executive function. At the end of the day, if she spent many, many, many years, and I know symptoms of, you know, like mental illness and disorders can obviously intensify or change over time, for sure. She wants me to believe that she spent every waking hour of her life for like the first 5 or 6 years of her career super hyper focused on content creation and scheduling, and her day, you know, she said this in her
Oxford Union interview.
She was super hyper scheduled. She, you know, she had a very regimented day. So this is the first video Gabby has put out. Like, obviously she's recording music and stuff and all of that, and I'm sure she's writing and all of that, but like, why don't you just film that and then put that on Patreon? Again, I don't have a leg to stand on here because my patrons are like, bitch, it's the desert in here. But I'm trying.
In fact, I have impaired executive functioning, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. It's so crazy for me to like look back at the stuff that I used to do. I'm like, how did I do that? Because I was such a like machine, just an endless just stream of like work and content, but it was also dumb and bad and meaningless, and that's why it was so easy to churn it out. And also I was an NPC because I did not have the Holy Spirit in me, and
me when I'm an NPC because I don't have the Holy Spirit in me. Sometimes I think Gabby just says things just to talk.
I was just like operating like in this world, like literally a robot, like work, pay attention to me, make money, like really needed Jesus.
Absolutely, because one thing's for sure, when you have Jesus, you don't have to focus on work. While I can understand what she's saying, like, I also, like, your job is your job. You know, you have to work if you want to make money. It's just how it is. My guess is because she grew up with less money, like a lot of us did, that she was churning out content and chasing numbers and virality and money because she didn't have money before that. And it was a sense of security. But she has that sense of security now, so she doesn't have the desire, the need, or the want to work as hard or as much, which makes sense. But I don't know, I forgot where I was going with that.
Behold our God seated on his throne. Come, let us adore him. Behold our King. Nothing can compare. Come, let us adore.
What just happened?
Oh, speaking of Behold Our God, I want to record a cover of that. And I also have to say thank you and I'm sorry to anybody who's literally ever ordered from Look Design.
Wait, didn't Look Design just like officially launch like a couple of months ago? Why are we already apologizing to people who have given you money?
Because it has been slow ship times, poor packaging, bad customer service.
Bad customer service? I can get the slow ship times and stuff like that if you're a one-man band, but poor customer service? Are you joking?
Like, listen, I know, and I'm so grateful to you. I'm trying so hard.
I bet you are. To collect the money and not follow through. I just spit.
I'm trying so hard, and when I come back with like the next like iteration, I promise I'm gonna do better. Each time does get better. I know it's still bad, but it is getting better.
How? Gabby has said so many things in this video that are just like blanket statements with nothing to back that up.
And I'm trying to be more consistent. I'm trying to be more transparent. And just, dude, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. I'm sorry that I'm not good at this. I'm trying.
Okay, but maybe we shouldn't then launch a company that ships out merchandise if we're not prepared to do so, or hire some people to help you. This apology video has left me with so many questions.
If I forgot someone, forgive me. Like, I look back at so many situations and I just feel embarrassed and I feel shame, but then I remember there is no condemnation or shame in Christ and that I've been wiped clean.
Well, that's a wonderful way to excuse yourself of any wrongdoing without giving anyone any specifics.
and Jesus forgives me, and I can hope that you guys forgive me, but I can't force that. But I do want to say that if there's anybody out there who feels like they owe me an apology, or feels like maybe they did me dirty a little bit.
Yeah, because, with Gabbie Hanna, this is just your reminder that everything is transactional. So if you too feel like you owe Gabbie Hanna an apology, I bet she's gonna forgive you because of Christ.
If we had an interaction or an altercation of any type, I just want you to know I forgive you too.
Well, that must feel great. But what if they're not sorry? Because they just genuinely don't like you.
So if there's a question on whether or not we have beef.
Do you have beef?
We absolutely do not.
Okay, cool. I was worried.
Not on my end anyways. I love literally everyone. I love you all, even when it hurts, even when it's hard. I love everyone. I forgive everybody because my God, Jesus Christ, loved me and forgave me when I did not deserve it and before I even asked. So I could not hold any unforgiveness in my heart, and I want to apologize for all the years that I've held unforgiveness in my heart, whether that's friends, family, colleagues, enemies. Whoa, scary. September 11th is tomorrow. I'm not sure if you guys are watching this or if I get this uploaded today the 10th or tomorrow the 11th. Either way, I want to say a quick prayer.
Nah, I'm good. Anyway, this has been Gabbie Hanna's apology. It's just as hollow and unspecific as I imagined it would be. Here's my summary, okay, of what we have just watched. This was a long way to go to absolve herself of wrongdoing in the past, in my opinion. It was a long way to go to say, I'm tired of having people hold these things over my head, so I'm gonna say I'm sorry, even if she actually does feel apologetic for these things. I have a really hard time believing Gabbie, taking her at her word, because as soon as she clings on to something, as soon as she takes 2 steps forward, she takes 3 steps back and shows her true character again. So, I mean, listen, I think the idea of saying you're sorry to people who you've done wrong or been shitty to is wonderful. And I think in some cases, the big, broad apology is absolutely fine. I think that's totally fine. I think there are some instances where there needed to be specifics. I also don't think Jesus, though he's the reason for the season, is the reason people should forgive you. Religion is fine. If it makes you feel better, a belief in a higher power of any kind, if that brings you some sort of comfort, and you don't push that shit on anyone, I have no issue with you. Even if you make it your whole personality, that's fine. As long as you're being a good person, as long as you're not shoving it down other people's throats and making them sit and listen to your scriptures and listen to, all that stuff. I don't care. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. But if you're going to apologize, make it because you're sorry. Make it because you mean it and you want to make meaningful change in your life. I think that's more valuable than risking going to hell for your past transgressions because Cloud Papa is angry. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some of it good, some of it bad. Like I said, it's very hard to trust Gabbie because she has spent so much time being like, well, I could go viral in 2 seconds. I know exactly how to go viral in 2 seconds. And I feel like if this religion persona is just a persona, I feel like she's kind of grasping at straws or like trying to very subtly pull the threads of drama or get attention in that way, because there is no real virality in religion outside of extremism. I take this apology, and obviously it's not my apology, so obviously Joey Graceffa saw it was fine, but he seems to have the spine of a earthworm. I take everything Gabbie does with a heaping helping of salt, like the kind that will give you iodine poisoning, an immediate stroke. Like it's nice to hear her say that she's sorry. It's nice to hear a little bit of self-awareness, but like it would have been even nicer to have at least a couple of specifics, even if it's not people, situations. you know, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Share them below in the comment section where the comments go. Oh my god, that rhymed. I'm gonna write a poetry book. I have got to go. So get out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the second channel. Like the video. Other things. Words. Actions. Do them. Who cares? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for the outtakes if there are any. I keep doing my outro backwards. Whatever. Whatever. I'm gonna eat that dog myself. Okay, bye!
Come let us adore.
Look at, I've got old lady neck now. Isn't that jarring? It's a little jarring. How dare you have an emergency? Also, the little yappy dog out there that will not shut the fuck up. Oh, so it's not planes today, it's fire trucks. Donald Trump says they're gonna eat you.